Violence. This is week 4, and this video will be brief. I just want to talk about some of the stereotypes that exist about intimate partner violence and maybe think, in order to encourage you all to maybe think about the topic in a non-traditional way. So earlier in the semester, we covered dating violence amongst teenagers, and I think that's a great place to start. So often when we think about intimate partner violence, we focus on adults and we focus on folks in particular who are married in a heterosexual relationship. Often the idea is that if you're a teenager and or you're not married and you're experiencing intimate partner violence, you can leave and it'll be really easy. But in fact, we know that when women who are experiencing violence in a relationship leave, that's when they're most vulnerable to the greatest amount of violence. And that's the most likely point in time in a relationship, in a violent relationship, when a woman will be murdered by her abusive spouse or abusive partner. So that's really important to keep in mind. And that is true of folks who are married and those who aren't. So that also applies to teenagers. Moving right along, I want to focus on the LGBT community, which is a particularly vulnerable population as they're a marginalized group within our society. On the La Lima page, I have the power and control wheel, which covers what an abusive situation looks like in terms of intimate partner violence. You can see that there's also an power and control wheel, and it applies specifically to same-sex and queer relationships. There are some differences in how the power and control can operate within a same-sex relationship. One of the most prominent things being that a way in which to express power and control is to threaten to out someone. So currently it's legal to fire someone or not allow someone to rent your property for being LGBT. So if someone wants to exercise control over their partner, they can threaten to out that person to their coworkers, to their landlord, or to their family if they aren't out to their family. Perhaps their family is religious and they think that being LGBT is a sin. So that's one unique feature of power and control within LGBT relationships. But there are others as well. And you can learn more about that by looking at the differences between the two power and control wheels. Finally, the last unique vulnerable population I want to talk about is folks who are undocumented, who are migrant workers, and or who are green card holders. So one nuance in these types of relationships with regard to intimate partner violence is that a controlling partner can keep vital information from out of the hands of the person who's being abused. So that might mean confiscating the green card or confiscating any paperwork that legitimizes the person who's experiencing the abuse from being in the US or the country where they have immigrated to. It can be isolating that person, not allowing them to call their family and friends back in their home country. It can be controlling the amount of money that they have access to, controlling their freedom and their movement. So these are just some nuances to consider as you're thinking about the way in which intimate partner violence and power and control operates within real relationships and the everyday lives of real people. I hope this video helps, and I'll be making a video for week 5 shortly.